It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Robbins.
Welcome into Veterans Issues. This is brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue. We appreciate you tuning in this week. This week's guest is somebody I've been trying to get on here for a while, but he won't slow down long enough, but I captured him long enough to do the show today. He's a state representative from the 35th District in the state of Alabama. His name is Steve Hurst, and we'll be talking to Steve about some veterans thing when we come back and other things. Stay where you are, get you a pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Into Veterans Issues. Today I'm talking with a guy that's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's been a friend of Alabama for a long time. He's held many positions in the political world and other things. And I want you to get to know him a little bit, but I want to brag on him for something he's done for us veterans. And so I want you to say hi to Steve Hurst, Representative Steve Hurst from down in Talladega and Munford area. Welcome to the show, Steve.
I appreciate it. Give me this opportunity to be here, Ken.
Well, I'm glad you got that opportunity. Man, it was, as we're doing this show today, it is pouring down rain out there, and you weathered the storm to get here.
I thought I was going to have to call the rescue squad to get
Absolutely.
me across the puddle out there.
It was,
Yes.
and we witnessed a guy of putting on some boots on a lady to help her get across some water, and I think I said something, but I'd lay down across the water and let her walk across water. No, I didn't do that. But it is a nasty day, but I appreciate you weathering it to come up here and do the show.
Well, I thank you for inviting me. You know, you've always put on great things to keep the citizens informed, and I've always enjoyed the opportunity to be with you and talk about some of the issues and the things that goes on.
Well, you've been on the show before, and what you said, WAAC now, it used to be another call letters, is probably the only station in the state of Alabama, 67 counties, that has a show like this dedicated to just veterans. And the last time you was on there, we was talking about veteran stuff, and a lot of things have happened that since you was on the show, and we got a lot to talk about today. But it's good that the station will allow the time that they do here.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't tell them about it, then I don't know how they're going to find out about the things that's out there for them.
Well, we have to keep the public informed, and that's the good thing that you do with your programs, and I commend you for this.
Thank you, sir. And I use an analogy that if a tree falls in the forest, nobody hears it, it make a noise.
Exactly.
All the legislation passed in Alabama to benefit veterans, if we don't tell them about it, you'd be surprised how many times I've announced something on here. The veterans will call me and say, man, I didn't have any idea I had that benefit, you know. And so we'll get into some of that here in a minute. But I want to talk about Steve Hurst, the man, the family man and stuff. And I know your wife, but I don't know your children, but you got some children, right?
I do. I have 3 boys. They're grown, married.
They got names?
Yeah, Mike, Kenny, and Vance.
Okay.
I have 3 granddaughters. They're all teenagers now. 2 of them just graduated from school this year, going on to college.
Bless your heart.
So, yes, and they're between my wife and daughter-in-laws and all granddaughters. I have to toe the line, if you know what I mean.
I know, and anybody that don't know Linda Hurst don't know Steve Hurst. But I mean, if that old saying, behind every good man there's a good woman, that's the epitome of it right there with her.
Well, you know, the good Lord sent her my way, and I thank him every day.
But you married way above yourself. You know how that goes.
I'm very much aware of that. I agree.
Now, Steve, before you went down to Montgomery, you was a county commissioner, were you not?
I was on the Talladega County Commission. George Wallace appointed me on the commission back in 1985. I served 2 terms. I sat out for 4 years, and then I came back and ran for the legislature.
Wow.
But I enjoyed it as a county commissioner because you meet the people, you're out there on the front line with the citizens, and you try to help them with their concerns. And you meet the elderly, you meet the young, you meet veterans. You know, at that time, that's when I began to get inside of me how much compassion it was really expressed by the citizens out there and the needs that they had.
Well, people don't know. The one thing that I do know for a fact is, you know, it's like when I'm on the state board, we're down there every quarter.
Right.
But in between those quarters, my phone rings off the hook. And when you're in session, that's what people know about. But they don't know what happens in between the sessions.
Yeah, and it's people really don't. It's not a part-time job. It's a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week. When you go to church, people want to talk to you. If you go out to eat, they want to talk to you. If you stop at a grocery store and get gas, somebody wants to talk to you about a concern or ask a question. And you need to recognize that need and spend a few minutes talking with them. Yeah. I do that constantly. I come home late. When I come home at night, my ritual is I walk in, I stand at the counter with a phone here, trying to return calls, trying to eat, and trying to read the mail all at the same time. I'm up early, and I welcome calls because people call me all the time. I think it's great. I encourage people to call, and if the listeners want to call me anytime, it doesn't matter, 7 days a week, call me. That's what I'm here for.
So when you call me all them times that a widow woman or a veteran is in need and try something about a nursing home or something, you're standing there with the phone to your ears and eating.
That or on the road or whatever.
At least just sit down to talk to me.
Well, sometimes you don't have time.
And I say that truthfully because more than once you've called me, more than twice, a bunch of times you've called me, a veteran in need,
well,
whatever that is.
I have, and every time you've accommodated or pointed them in the right direction or gave an answer to would help these people soothe their feelings or satisfy their need. And I commend you for that, and I commend all veterans for that because veterans are the thing that's made our country.
When you lose a spouse, a wife loses a spouse, and he's a veteran, and they don't know which way to go, and they look to you, and then you've got to have a resource to look to. So,
exactly.
He done it. But one time I remember something that I'm sure you probably remember. There was a woman who lost her son in Vietnam, a widow, that was in a nursing home, and for something that happened years ago where she had received some funding, she was about to be kicked out of that nursing home. I don't mean pushed. I'm talking about kicked out.
She was. She had called me, and she had X number of days, and they were going to put her out of the facility. I made some calls and found out a little bit more about it. I talked to the people in Montgomery. I talked to the legal counsel and told the legal counsel we needed time. I said, I have told that woman to respond like she has, and I said, I want to come testify on her behalf if need be. And at the same time, that's when I called you, and you talked to the veterans, and it amounted to about $4,000. It was needed to be paid back. And the veterans, among some other people, came to her rescue, and I just thank the good Lord that happened because that lady was able to stay where she was.
Yeah, well, you facilitated it, and to lose your only son in a war, and then be threatened to be pushed out, but you found out that no matter your state representative, you found out that Medicaid agency, they don't care. They go by the laws. I mean, it's not that they don't care, but I'm the one that got to send a check and write that ugly letter. Now, I'm sure they threw it in the trash can, but I said, how dare you, But they got rules. I understand that. But.
Well, Ken, it's really bad when I talk to people in Washington. The problem was that her son got killed, and there was a death benefit that came to her. And she received the death benefit. Then years later, while she was in the nursing home, she received the benefit. So they wanted to say that was the income that would come to her and would go against this. And they were penalized her.
If you own anything, they're going to get it. But that was one of the times where good was done by you sending an alarm. The Marine Corps League and others that stepped up to the plate took care of that lady. And that's what I'm saying is in between the legislative sessions and going back again, there's a lot to do out there, a lot of people in need. And though if you're at the Cracker Barrel or someplace, people come up, hey, Steve, I need you to help me on this. Exactly. But we're going to have to go to a break before we cut in too much of that. And come back, we're going to talk more about this. Just stay right there, brother.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're going to go to a break, come back, got more with Steve. You stay where you are and get that pen. Welcome back to the Veterans Issue. We're talking with Representative Steve Hurst, 35th District here in Talladega, and what is Talladega and Calhoun County?
Talladega and Calhoun, that's correct.
Okay, when we left, what county, what areas do you cover? I mean, is it just those two?
It is. I
say just those two. That's a lot.
In Calhoun County, I have the biggest part of Oxford. I have Bynum, Coldwater, and Welborn.
Okay.
In Calhoun County. Talladega County, I have North Talladega County, from about the city limits of Talladega back this direction.
Does your area go into Leatherwood area out there in Hewletton, or
just to the line?
Just to the line.
The railroad, is actually the district line in the Welborn community.
Okay. They're by the high school.
That's correct.
And the elementary school. Now, there's a tag that people see on their cars, the God Bless America tag. Didn't you have something to do with that, or did you?
I did, yeah.
What you the one that introduced it?
I introduced that bill, and the reason I did was not for political reasons at all. The reason I introduced the bill, I was coming home from the session, stopped behind the car, and there was a tag on the car, and it had God Bless America underneath the car, not a local tag.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why can't we do this? So I went to work and introduced a bill to come up with a tag that put God Bless America on the car tag. We began to work at it. So what we finally decided to do through the Revenue Department in Alabama is to come with a special tag, one tag that you could buy just like your regular tag at no additional cost. And you could buy it and put it on your car, and it would have have the God Bless America underneath it. And it's red, white, and blue. It was a great thing. And when I want to stress this, it was not political, because there's one thing for sure, I'm a God-fearing person. And I believe if I'd have done it for any other reason other than the right reason, God would mark me for life. And I believe
Oh,
that.
yeah, I believe it. And I know you didn't know well enough that's the reason, but I had a lot of dealings with a lot of tags. I don't know the numbers. I mean, they're way up there. The Marine Corps, all of those tags went through the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I had to, we looked at the different designs and everything. But anyhow, the one thing about it, the revenue from that, a portion of the revenue goes to the Montevallo, the cemetery down there. Is that right?
That's correct. Sometime later, Jack Page came to me, and he and I came with a bill together. And the bill takes this, you can buy a specialized tag that puts your name on it, and that costs an extra $50. Okay, that money will go to the Veterans Park. And I forget exactly what they said it would bring in. I won't say around $2 million a year, but it was astronomical, just unreal to me.
Wow.
But I thought, what a great thing you can go far, because for us to be able to honor our veterans and show people how much we do honor our veterans, then it's a great thing and a great satisfying.
Yeah, it's no greater honor. But now let me get on. I got to get some things.
Okay.
The last year, had coming out of a committee here in Anniston, we was building some memorials in the Centennial Memorial Park, and I asked you, would you run some bills through for us? You said, get them to me.
Right.
Well, we did, and you did, and we ended up with 4 pieces of legislation that designates in Centennial Park and Anniston 4 official memorials: law enforcement, firefighters, Iraq and Afghanistan. And you were but we had 2 other local people. I think Randy Wood and Barbara Boyd signed on with you. But you jumped on that without even a hesitation. And now we've got in Anniston 5, count them, 5 official memorials designated there. We got yet to build the other 4, but I'm sure we'll be able to come up with that. But that is something that you can hang your hat on as a state representative. How many people can say I built, after we're dead and gone from this earth, the legislation shows your name there that you did that.
Yeah, I'm just honored that I had the opportunity to do this. I'm sure anybody that you had asked or had approached, they would be more than happy to do this. But I'm honored. I feel good about it. I saw the need for it. I knew that it would honor veterans, not just in Calhoun County, but all over the world, all over the nation. Anybody came by and looked at the memorial. So I'm real pleased. And if anybody hasn't seen it, they need to go by and take a look. It's astronomical.
I'd like to agree with you, but I got to disagree with you. It's everybody wouldn't do it, because when Congressman Rogers was in the legislature, he tried to do that. And he was knocked down from every corner. They would not allow the official memorials to be in Anniston, Alabama, because there would be a time that they might want to have one in their city. So you did something that you didn't.
Well, I was aware of that, and we discussed that going in. So I approached people in Montgomery, and I said, this is what we need to do. This is what we want to do. We had some concerns, some issues, but we worked through it and finally resolved those issues, and it went through without a problem.
Yeah. I got to know some people in the legislative office. I didn't, but it would have been. People thought it more appropriate that they would be built in Montgomery or Birmingham or somewhere, but right here in Anniston.
That's what you had to do in the legislature. You had to be able to resolve these problems and try to negotiate to where that you can get something that people can compromise on. That's the art of.
Before we run out of time, people, like I said, when they don't know what you do in between. When you do in between the sessions. But during this last session, I hope people can hear that because the rain is coming down in Oxford, Alabama.
It sounds good.
Good night.
So thank you, Lord.
Well, when you got a metal roof and the rain beating down, to you folks, it's not your television messed up. That's good old rain. But there was some bills passed. And just one example when y'all went through there, I think there was 16 major bills passed that affect veterans that I'm aware of. But one of them was a CDL license, and you know what y'all did on that. Right. There was, for the folks that don't know, if you was in the military, you have to have a CDL license if you're driving vehicles that require a CDL. Because you see these trucks on the highway, interstate, the GIs have to get a CDL license. Well, when you get out of the service, you got to go get a CDL license to the state. In Alabama, you don't. Y'all passed a law, and I think that's the greatest thing in the world. If the veterans out there watching, if you had a CDL in the military, you can jump on the line now. There's jobs out there for people with CDL. Is that something as simple as that?
Well, you just think about how many job openings that provides for the military, or the veterans when they come out. Because they can say, well, what do I want to do? But if they have the CDLs, they can say, I can't drive on the road. And they don't have to go take another test. They don't have to go through all the strain and the problems and the aggravation.
Yeah.
Because they already have their license. If they're licensed by the government, they should be licensed by the state.
And they're in the government and they're driving on state highways.
Exactly.
What's the difference, And that was another thing. Now there's a thing y'all passed that I love because it's starting up here. Judge Stedham, I think, is going to start one here in Calhoun County. It's a veterans court. They've started them all over the state of Alabama where a veteran is convicted of a crime can plead guilty to the crime. They will then put them in a class of some sort, be a drug class or whatever. And they have to have a mentor, and then when they can pay back restitution, they can stay with their family, they don't have to be incarcerated, and they have to clean up their act. But that's going already in 16 counties is what y'all did, and that's a great thing. And I don't know how much time we got, but I think we run out of time. We're gonna have to come back, but there's just so many things here that I appreciate you doing on behalf of veterans, the military, and law enforcement, man. You're doing a great job, and I hope you'll go back down there and keep on doing this, because I need you. Will you do that?
You call me and we'll answer the call. How about
Thank you, Steve, for being on the show. And don't get wet when you leave here today. I hear the rain coming down, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate Steve being on the show today. We got to go. We'll come back. I got news that you can use. Stay where you are. Get the pen. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. And the director back there trying to be a smart lady got me tickled right before we come in there. But that's, she's a good one. Their name is Kizzy Gooden. Anyhow, I want to tell you remind you about the veteran's license. I got a call last week. The guy said that he went to get his driver's license updated with the word veterans on it, and he went down to the admin building, wasted a trip when he should have went out to the state troopers. Take your DD 214 out to the trooper office in Jacksonville, and that'll get you the word veteran on your driver's license. Now I want to say thanks to those people that answered our call for the DAV van drivers. I think Paul Brule told me that they had 3 new drivers who was going through the process of getting their paperwork. That's awesome, because we got to have more drivers than that. So if you're out there and you'd like to drive the DAV van and take people to the VA hospital, what a noble job that is. And just give me a call. My information's on the screen somewhere after a while if it's not out there right now. And I don't want to put something in the control room, give them a heads up, but I want to show a picture that we had in the paper. Ben Tomlinson's new ride that he's got, and that is that track chair that will take him fishing, take him hunting, and I want one of those. Y'all buy me one, but this is a thing that Wounded Warriors are doing, Bill O'Reilly, I think, had $6 million toward those. They're $16,000. You send me the money, I'll go get me one. No, I think that's great. Ben's a great guy, and he needs something like that to give him back a portion of his independence, and that is an awesome track deal. Way to go, Ben. Way to go, Semper Fi. Semper Fi, the folks that helped do that. And let's see, we got to go back to something. I want to show something here while I got, and this is this. Everybody recognize this as support the troops. I haven't talked about this in a while, but the body shop people hate me for doing this. Now, this has got a magnet in it, and it's metal. So in the hot sun, even though it's raining today, it'll get hot, and this leaves an imprint on your automobile. When you get ready to trade your automobile, you try to pop this off, and it's still got the imprint left in your car. And so the body shops like to buff that out, and they charge you a lot of money to get that going. So when you get fuel up your car, just move it over to another place. And you fuel up again, move it to another place. And that way it won't burn into the paint. And you'll thank me for it later when you get ready to trade that automobile. Now, I got some statistics that I just want to hit a few of them. The unemployment estimate for veterans is 9.5 veterans per county, 9.5% per county, to a total of 1,947. The traumatic brain injuries, 19.5% of the total veterans population, to the tune of 3,997 traumatic brain injuries for the state of Alabama. Now, we're going to have 20,000 plus veterans coming back from Afghanistan, and 2,000 are going to have PTSD. 4.5% of them are going to be suicidal. Governor Bentley has set up a faith-based initiative in August 1st in Auburn. If any of the clergy around here would like to do something along those same lines, give me a call. I'll tell you how you can do that. We got veterans coming back are going to be a little bit different than when they went over there, and you're going to need to know how to deal with that. So give me a call if you're in the clergy. Got to say hello to my little buddy Bella Prim, Caitlin, and all the folks down at IHOP, Miss Betty Carr. And this week's salute goes out to Paul Burley and all of those who drive the van, take the veterans to the VA. Appreciate Steve coming on doing the show today. We'll see you next week right here on Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins saying salute.